Hey everyone, Jarrad Victor Kilo 3 Bravo Lima here, just doing a very quick screencast which shows how to download the latest firmware update and copy it onto an SD card or a USB key that you've prepared earlier so that you can update your Icom IC-7610 or other Icom radio. Now, in all my firmware update videos, you'll see here on YouTube that I've done one saying Icom firmware update 1.5 update now. If you scroll down, and it'll actually show up like this, and it'll say show more just here. If you click show more, I'll always put the link to the firmware I'm talking about. So if we click on this link, it'll open a new tab. I'm using Google Chrome, but you can use whatever, and it will take you directly to the firmware I'm talking about. You can see this is version 1.5, and it says that the FPGA's firmware is improved and the transmit signal quality is improved, amongst other things. We then scroll down and we agree to download. If you're using Google Chrome, Google Chrome, down the bottom here you will see the download is in progress. You need to wait a little bit. It does come down in a zip file, so it does mean you have to extract it out of that zip file before you can use it with your radio. Once it blinks like that and the progress has gone away down the bottom of Google Chrome, your file is downloaded. Now here's an Explorer window that I've set up earlier. This has taken us to our This PC Downloads folder. This is where Google Chrome automatically puts its downloads. You can see I've got the previous firmware here as well, 1.04, but we're interested in 1.05. I've also got what's called on my computer a USB drive, but in this case it is an SD card. It just depends on your computer, with a folder called IC-7610 in it, just here. Now this folder is the one that the IC-7610 will automatically make when you prepare an SD card using its built-in tool. So what we need to do is double click on the zip folder and it'll open up, but it hasn't extracted the file yet. So we need to click on the file, then we need to left click and hold and drag our file over into the IC-7610 folder. See how it says copy to IC-7610? We then let go. Our computer will then copy the file across, and if we click on the IC-7610 folder, we will now see that there is an IC-7610_105 DAT file there. Now just to repeat the process and for good practice, I'll go to Downloads, 7610.104, click and hold, left click and hold, drag over and dump that in the 7610 folder. There we go. Now we have two copies of firmware on our SD card. There's no trouble having more than one copy, and I actually recommend you keep at least a couple on there. That way, if you find the latest firmware has a bit of quirks or it hasn't programmed properly, or you suspect that something has gone awry, you can program back to the old firmware and then back up to the new one. So that's how I prepare the card. Now, the last and final step is we need to eject the card safely. If you're at all worried about this, the quickest and easiest way to do it is to shut down your computer. But in our case, we should be able to just right click on our USB drive and press eject. The window's gone away, and down the bottom in the bottom right hand corner my computer has told me it's safe to remove my USB card. So now that that's done, we can go back to my YouTube video, scroll up and follow the update procedure. As I said, I used an SD card. It was referred to on my particular computer as a USB drive. Some computers will do that, some will call them SD cards. It doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter whether you use a USB card or an SD card. The radio doesn't mind. I just use SD cards because I have a lot of them floating around from when I was playing around with Raspberry Pi computers. So there you go. That's how to copy the firmware onto your SD card. And if you go to my channel, and look for the latest, IC-7610 firmware, and look for the one with the latest number, I can guarantee you'll always get one that I've tried.